right, welcome. It Takes a Team podcast, episode 2. We have Calvin Kattar in studio, just fresh off a plane from Brazil. And obviously my lovely little co-host Brendo in the studio with us.
How are you today, Tyson?
Pretty good, man. How you doing, Calvin?
What's up, Uncle T? Good to be back.
So first I want to talk, we'll get to talking about Brazil, but me and Brendo, we played little trains, planes, and automobiles last week. We toured the Midwest, going out to UFC Wichita for Maurice Green's fight. I don't know if you want to just give like a little recap of what we did there.
Crochet Boss.
The Crochet Boss, coming out with that big W. So I don't know if you want to give a little bit of a recap on that, talk about the fact that we're even still alive, being in a car with Brock Larson for 18 hours.
No, that was fun. We went, March 4th? That night before, it decided to snow, and it was, it was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving to jiu-jitsu, and the roads were dry and clear. We were supposed to leave at 9:30 that night, and we got delayed for 3 hours, which made it awesome. The best part is they always tell you that just show up on time, like your flight's going to leave on time. Maybe we'll leave on time.
How long were you guys there for again?
We did Monday to Monday.
But you stayed after and went to the gym start in Minnesota?
Yeah, so we left the fight Sunday morning. We drove from Wichita to Minneapolis, which is like 9 hours, 45 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
Spent the night in Minneapolis and then a day in Minnesota.
Minnesota was fun.
Yeah.
So we get off at like 12:30. That's when we're supposed to land and start driving. But we get there about 2:30, 3.
Yep.
We meet up with
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
In Minnesota. We meet up with the best wheelman in MMA, would you say? Brock Larson.
The worst wingman.
No, best wheelman. He's the wheelman.
Yeah, he is.
Best wheelman in MMA.
Shout out
Brock Larson.
Brock Larson.
At Brock Larson BJJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we only died like 3 times almost. It was close.
He's not a calm driver. To say he's aggressive would be like giving him credit.
I think it's a good idea to have him driving, though, because at least he's busy.
I was the navigator.
Him in the back
so
with some time is dangerous.
You have no idea how he can be when he's very productive in the back. We found that out later.
So we're driving, and before we're waiting for our bags in baggage claim. It's like 3 a.m. We're exhausted, and now we know we have a 9.5-hour road trip to start a fight week, which is already exhausting in itself. I let Brendo know. I go, listen, Brock is not the safest driver. I was like, he's not going to get us killed, but he's not going to make you feel safe. No, true story. I was like, well, what do you mean? I go, he'll do things like jack the brakes on the highway and swerve over to the side just because you said something you didn't like. And I thought I was being kind of dramatic, and then
Tyson made a comment about the Vikings. Apparently, he's a Vikings fan being in Minnesota, and he slammed on the brakes at like 75 miles an hour and jacked it to the right and said, "Get out."
Classic Brock.
Yeah, Brock says, "Get out." You get out though.
You start wrestling one of you guys, put you in a choke.
Oh my god!
I didn't
him
say
and Tony
it.
are right together.
He was only mad at Tyson.
Now I see where Tony gets it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So
I can only imagine those
we
two
had a
in the
little bit
gym.
of that, and then on the way back, we had. I wasn't paying attention to the ways close enough, and the highways were splitting, and we were going to the left, and we just passed the split, and I was like, "Oh crap, we're supposed to take that right." That didn't stop him. Slams the brakes, doesn't even look in his blind spot, just swerves to the right, cuts over the median, over the curb, through the grass, down the hill, over the hill, into the off-ramp.
Aren't you glad he did? He saved you like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Not the guy you need driving, or the want driving, but the guy you need driving.
Yeah, you need new underwear, but it was...
we always pack too much anyway, so...
You can do that in Minnesota.
It was nuts, but big thing is we got the win. We went out there for the Crochet Boss. He took the fight on really 3 weeks' notice, so we only had 2.5 weeks to train, and nobody knew this, but he was coming off a knee injury. So he fought, I think, November 28th or 29th, and he hadn't really been training since then because we were trying to have him heal up his knee. And then this offer came in, and he really wanted the rematch. Like, he had lost this kid 11 months ago. And we're like, all right, well, you're going to have to fight real smart. You don't have the gas tank to go 3 hard rounds. And he knew that. And me and Brock were really, really proud of him that he stayed composed. He fought like a veteran, even though he's only got like 7 or 8 fights. Fought like a veteran and really fought the exact way you have to fight on 3 weeks' notice to get your hand raised but not gas out. So I was really, really proud of him with that. I think he hit a lot of growth in that fight. And, he's 2-0 in the UFC now, and he only trained for 3 weeks for that fight.
It's a tough fight to take any rematch after a loss on 3 weeks. It's like, you say you catch an L on that one, you still might be like, if I had a full camp.
Yeah.
But you're still taking it on 3 weeks and getting that one back, that's huge.
Well, you know that. I mean, you took your UFC debut on 9 or 10 days' notice.
Yeah, I had no medicals. I missed most of my sessions just getting medicals done, and then you get there a week early. Yeah, it was a headache, man. But 3 weeks, that's pretty solid, though, too, especially a kid you already fought, a lot of history.
Yeah. And he just fought smart. I mean, Brendo was there, sitting in the stands, and...
I was there for his first one, right? In
yeah,
Vegas?
in Vegas.
Yeah, Palms?
Yep.
He looked good that night, too.
They got the triangle against the Olympic wrestler. So we're happy, man. 2-0. He's probably going to be on the Minneapolis card June 29th. So shout out to you, Crochet Boss.
You already got him another fight?
We don't have a fight, but he's from Minnesota, so he did it all in his post-fight interviews.
How'd that work?
Calvin, they don't want you
How that works, right?
If they come back to Boston, you'll be on that card.
I'm telling you, man, bottom game. I'm moving.
So, Calvin, you're just back from Brazil.
Yes.
Where'd you go? Tell us about it.
Mainly Ipanema. I would stay right on the beach, like a block from the beach. It's great. I love it there. It's my third time in Brazil, and each time it gets better and better. I experience more. You can only experience so much in one trip in Brazil. There's so much to see. But I'm definitely happy to be back here with you guys.
I'm happy to be back. And after my performance on the first podcast, I'm happy to say that I only slept with one guy last week. And that guy was...
That's a personal best.
My little friend Brendo. We shared a bed in a hotel.
And the funny thing is, like, when you said that to me earlier, I was like, who did he sleep with? I was like, we were in bunk beds for a good portion of the time. I'm like, oh, it was me.
I'm not memorable, I guess.
No, you are. It's just become so normal. It's just become so normal.
My wife has me so scared to have any physical contact in the bed. I'm not allowed to swing my legs over and hit her, or else she gets pissed because I'm too hot.
Start sweating.
So now I respect my my zone right down the middle. I don't cross it.
You guys do the pillow divider?
No, we don't have to.
You guys are comfortable.
No, I had my trusty sleeping bag that I bring on every trip. So
he invited me in the first night. I was like, you know what?
Fan.
I don't know what Sarah will say.
We did sleep in bunk beds the first 3 nights in the Airbnb. So we had this house where Tony and Kayla were in one bedroom, and there was 2 extra bedrooms upstairs that had big beds, and then there was one room downstairs that had 2 sets of bunk beds, and we're like, slumber party.
so much room for activities.
This was a huge, relatively for how many people were there's a huge house, and we decided we're all going to sleep in the same room
for Tony's.
Yeah,
right? Because Tony
had the Airbnb.
I like it, man. I like your style.
We let Maurice stay in the hotel. Tony had all this extra space. His coaches got delayed with their flights, so 3 of us just stayed in this room downstairs. We cooked breakfast. We were right across the street from the grocery store, so it was really handy. But it was fun, the pillow talk going at night.
Yeah.
It reminded me of college. I'm sleeping on the bottom bunk, Brock's on the top. I did think he was going to fall through, maybe, but...
Fight weeks are always fun in that sense. A lot of work, a lot of hurry up and waiting, but definitely fun, good time. Team bonding.
Is there anything... All right, so I was texting... My buddy Larry came up from Oklahoma and spent a few days with us to watch the fight, and he's gone out for a couple of Tony's fights before. And we were texting after, it's depressing the week the fight is over. You get that fight, you get this... You're with your boys, you're looking forward to the trip, you travel, you have this road trip, you're running out of adrenaline, camaraderie, you go into the fight, you win, you get your hand raised, you have the ice cream in the locker room after, which is awesome. And then...
If it's worthy.
Yeah, it depends. But then you go home, and there's this anxiety that comes with I feel so isolated now. Only being...
It's called a marriage, Tyson.
Yeah.
And congrats to you having your 3rd kid. Found out today. Shout out Tyson Chartier and Sarah.
Well, it's not public, so...
Well, I just announced your
Calvin just announced that
you can thank Uncle Calvin.
Yeah, I guess we're...
my bad, Lost and Cam.
I guess we're supposed to do a gender reveal tonight, though, so everybody
But by the time this airs...
That's true. So thank you, Calvin, for announcing that we have a 3rd on the way. Well, the crazy story about this is it's due September 15th, and we had a miscarriage a couple years ago, and that baby was due September 15th.
Wow.
So it's it's crazy kind of how the things work out. I'm not super religious, but I think everything happens for a reason. So, had that miscarriage not happen, we wouldn't have Lawson, my youngest, who's 1, and then now we're going to have this 3rd one on the same day. So it's almost kind of seems like fate, but...
Congratulations, man. I'm
excited.
Yeah, congratulations. I still think it's going to be a boy.
we really want a girl. So by the time this airs, everybody will know. But we're
If you don't already know, he has 2 boys.
we have 2 boys. We're hoping for the girl.
And if it's a boy, he can never see this.
Yeah, because we can't tell him.
Yeah.
We were kind of hoping for a girl.
Yeah, sorry. Name you Sarah or something. Yeah, so I guess that news is out of the bag. But all right, back to Brazil, bro. How long were you there?
I was there for 2 weeks. I was out there with Carlos Neto, my head coach, 617 Fight Sports, Somerville, Mass. We went out there, and most of the team was out there too. They were doing a lot of the jiu-jitsu trip, but I was there for more of the sights. I run along the beach, a couple pull-ups, a couple sit-ups,
Couple drinks.
coconut waters.
Yeah. It rained a lot?
Yeah, first couple of days it was pouring, and then which was nice because I didn't really have much of a base tan coming from Boston, and eased into it and had a great time. The SIE out there is unreal. It's nothing like back home. Every time I go out, I just can't get enough of it, and especially Ipanema Beach, the area is beautiful. Hit a lot of beaches, and it was carnival too, so that was a plus.
Yeah, I saw some of your stories. It looked a little crazy.
Yeah, you got to follow
Yeah.
the premium snap to get more
Yeah.
details.
And obviously no fights on the horizon. We
I
don't
mean, you would know. This guy
Just
right
let
here,
them
no
know.
fights. Don't ask me.
Yeah, so we've been off on a couple fights, not like dates. Well, one we did get a date. We accepted both of them. They just didn't work out, unfortunately. So now we're back in the rankings, number 15, and now we're just waiting for the name. We're waiting for a name and a date, and then we'll sign a new contract and wait to go from there. But
You can maybe announce a contract right now. I'll be surprised. I'm with it.
All kinds of surprises.
No
here.
contract.
there's nothing.
All right.
There's nothing. But
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm no rush. You know me. I'm kind of right there. I'm just easing in, getting training in. I'm excited to be back to train with Rob, number one teammate, man. Kid's killing it right now. I just need an extra couple weeks to get in shape.
So obviously the point of this, us putting together the podcast is really to try to almost get beneath the sheets with the fighters. With you, that's a different meaning. So metaphorically speaking, beneath the sheets, not your real sheets. Just a little bit about your background. I know a lot of people know that you're from Boston. You're the Boston finisher who doesn't finish all the time.
Decisionator.
The decision
Hater.
maker. So I guess just get into your background, where'd you grow up, all that stuff, family.
Grew up in Methuen, Mass, and a big family. Just started wrestling in high school, and I was 13. I started 2 weeks late into the season. My buddy got me on the team, and he ended up eventually, through winter break, quitting the team, and I stayed all 4 years. It's funny how that works out, but I'm glad he got me on. And ever since then, the guys that I lost to in wrestling, I always felt like if I could have just punched them, I could have beat them up, you know what I mean? But turns out that I started training. I think I saw Dave George, my sister's best friend, fight when I was just getting out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I took 6 months off college. Kind of came quick and caught me with my pants down, figuratively.
Yeah.
And so I started training. I saw him fight, and I started training. Took my first fight 6 months later, and since then I've just been addicted to that feeling. And then actually I took that layoff when I bought the promotion from Dave. Combat Zone I fought for a while. Upcoming event April 19th, Friday. Doors open 5:30. Get your tickets, www.tzma.com.
We'll give you a chance to plug.
Yeah, so where was I going with that? Yeah, I saw Dave's first fight. I've been training with them, and it's been crazy. It's been a crazy... Yeah, since I took the layoff, I gave that phone call, man, just breaking the ice, knowing Rob had that TD Garden
Take a
fight.
step back. You're 14-2. He's already the number one 45er in New England. He was on the path to UFC. You had actually gotten called by the UFC years back, but you were I feel like...
WEC.
WEC, okay.
Yeah.
So UFC, WEC, kind of the same thing back then. And it was the big call for the 45ers at that time. And you just didn't feel you were ready quite yet.
To hang there. I knew maybe I got that opportunity to shot, but I just wasn't ready to hang there yet. And
You weren't mentally there
Yeah,
yet.
I wanted to learn more, man. I knew I wasn't where I needed to be, and I was comfortable saying that to myself. I don't want to get there unless I'm ready. And that's why the timing of this is all just so surreal, because I know I'm ready now. I let it mature. It feels right. The team came together. But, yeah, I had that opportunity. I passed it up and got...
Then you got to 14-2.
Yep.
And then you took the layoff. It was kind of the same thing. You broke your hand. You were dealing with that. And then you also bought Combat Zone.
Yep.
So you had how long of a layoff?
3 years, I'd say. And it's funny because around that time, me and Rob were right around that number one spot in New England, 1 and 2, and we probably might have taken the fight. You know how that works on your guys' side. And on my side, it was just me and my brother, so we would have probably done anything. We were very close to happening, me and Rob. And to take that layoff just because it was necessary behind the promotion, taking the hand injury, needed some time. And then I saw you guys doing big things while I was taking that layoff. And then every Combat Zone event, I'd be sitting cage side, and I'd just be like, right around it and just getting that itch. And one of those days around the 3-year mark, I gave you a call when Rob was training for fighting for the TD Garden fight. And I mean, the rest is history, man. You said maybe a fight or two will get you on. Well, you kind of backdoored me into signing a contract.
Yeah.
And
They're very strategic.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, I'll reach out to him as long as you sign the contract. I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, no worries. I see what you're doing with Rob. I know you're a trustful guy. I met you on set for Here Comes the Boom. Shout out to them. That was awesome. But I was like, if I do fight again, it's going to be with you. Just don't announce it because I don't really know unless I don't have anything lined up. Don't announce it until we have something lined up. And what does he do? He announced it and forced me to take a damn fight. But
I'll blame Ed Cat for that one.
Smart move, man.
Yeah, smart move.
I need the kick in the ass, and you gave it to me. I didn't know if I was going to do it other than the UFC. I was just calling like a clueless kid. Say, hey, if a slot was up in the UFC, I know I haven't fought in 3 years, but throw me in.
And I was like,
I didn't know any better.
That's not really how
It doesn't work
to him. I was like, that's not really how it works.
I see that now, especially. I can't get a damn fight, and I'm 3-1 UFC. I'm trying to renegotiate.
I always knew that you were good enough to compete in the UFC, which is why when he was on his layoff, Rob became the number 2 145er in New England, and they kept trying to get them two to fight, and I was like, this fight's never gonna happen. I want Calvin and Rob both to go to the UFC. And they were like, well, what do you care about Calvin? I was like, well, he's a nice guy. He's talented. I want him to go to the UFC. Him and Rob should be training partners, not opponents. And then fast forward a couple of years, he eventually decided to get back in. I knew he was good enough to compete. We just needed to get him active again. And, we got him 2 wins. And he got the last-minute call. He's in. Now you're 3-1 in the UFC, coming off a big first-round knockout against Fishgold.
Yep.
Up in Moncton in October. And now he's back in the rankings at number 15. Your only loss is like to a top 7 guy. And we're excited about what your next fight could be. But, it's just cool how it all turned out where that one call, I did post it that you were going to fight again. And then that just like kind of forced his hand into fighting.
I needed it.
And you just think where we'd be if maybe I didn't answer the phone that day or you didn't make the call.
If I didn't make that call, crazy.
It's just cool how it all worked out.
Yeah, especially to be surreal to get that shot with Rob and TD just last January. What a moment that was for just even New England in itself, especially even being in the sport like 12 years, 13 years at this point, and being local MMA. I remember starting out when Northeast MMA was on the scene. Everyone's doing the Fighter of the Month, and then the the rankings. I'm like, one day I want to be the Fighter of the Month. I hit that goal. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then all of a sudden, I'm like this number 1, number 2 thing. Rob said he eyed me at that time. We all, just a reason to compete. And I always want to be number 1 in New England. I eventually achieved that. I was pumped. And then there was always that one thing, the UFC fight, that was just a bucket list thing to do. So I naively reached out to you. But to get that shot with, it ended up working out, man, because now, fast forward, like you said, a little while, me and Rob, with your foresight, ended up getting that TD fight last January, and it was something I worked hard for my whole career. But to see even the growth of MMA for the last 12, 13 years in New England is unbelievable where it's at now.
Yeah, I think synergy is definitely the word that comes to mind when all of us got together. It was like you and Rob just clicked organically as teammates and training partners, and you guys, I would call him your number 1 training partner,
100%,
and I would call you his number 1 training partners. Whenever Rob has a fight week, Calvin will go out and spend the week with him and be his punching bag, and vice versa. So whenever Calvin has a fight week, Rob comes out, and he's Calvin's training partner. And it's just been cool to see you guys go through the whole thing together because, you bring another fighter that's not in the UFC out on fight week, they might not understand the gravity of it, and you guys understand all the vibes and how to keep the tempo right and how to help.
Well, because it's all about the fighter on fight week, and it comes from the top. I know you preach that every fight week, which is huge, and sets the tone for the fight weeks, but that's why it's funny every time we get out there, the role reversals. One day, Tyson was sweet sweating everybody back in the day. Now, he's got his minions doing it, or the other teammate doing it, hazing. If it's your first fight week, careful. Get ready to sweet sweat the guy coming up.
Except for Mitch, obviously. He decided, I'm not going to do it.
Is that what he said? Oh, no, yeah. He's
that
perfecting Michelle, right?
So he was probably taking some selfies or something.
You might have sweet sweat us with his gel.
No, you tell about Mitch.
So to explain sweet sweat is, for people that might not know, is when we go to cut weight, we try to sweat off a lot of weight towards the end, whether it be in a bath or put a rubber suit on and go jogging or whatever. We put this stuff called Sweet Sweat on. It opens your pores, makes you sweat faster. So it's always a battle of who's gonna grease up their buddy. So the guys basically get in their underwear and we oil them up just like a model or something. Or
I know that's what you have in your head. Tyson, for the most part, enjoyed sweet sweating the fighters for a while.
But then I got married and she wouldn't let me do it anymore. It's extremely erotic.
Yeah, it's not enjoyable.
I've seen it.
It's really though not as bad. It's just a little longer lasting. But the only thing that's worse than that is when you take off the first round of the sauna suit and you got the sweet sweat mixed with all the sweat inside, and you got to stick your arm in the sleeve to pull it inside out to then wipe it down with a towel so the fighter can put it back on.
We've graduated past that though, because now
when we do
right, when we go on fight, we used to do one suit. Man. We would do one suit, and then the guys would cool off after their first round, and then you'd hear Rob in the shower be like, "Hey Tyson and Kathy," Kathy's Rob's girlfriend, "Can you clean out the sauna suit?" Because Rob didn't want to put the wet sauna suit on, so he would make us reach our arm in. You'd pull. It's just disgusting, and then we'd have to wipe it down with a towel and then put it back.
Having been that guy that had to wipe it down, it was gross.
It's disgusting.
It was very gross.
So now, when you guys go on fight weeks, I just bring 2 sauna suits.
Yeah.
And then we just throw the first one away.
Sometimes, though, in the morning, man, I've had to use it in the morning. You save one of them, right? Throw out one, keep one for the morning. Nice 8 a.m. wake up for a 9:30 weigh-ins. Hit the treadmill or whatever for another hour, half hour.
It's amazing how much of a difference when you're cutting weight and you're miserable, just not having to put that wet sauna suit back on.
I'm telling you, even down to like when you're done the weight cut, it's huge. My last camp, Rob's, that's why he gets it. You know, being a fighter and then being there for the fighter, you get what irks you, what doesn't. And even after I did that weight cut, I remember one weight cut I did a coconut oil smelling sweet sweat. I haven't had coconut oil since. Nope. I can't ever have it again. The smell almost made me throw up. But even after my last weight cut in Moncton, you know, I came back after the weight cut. The last thing you want to see, it's like getting hungover or something the night before, and you see the remnants from the night, the drinks around or something. You're just like, you just want to throw up looking at anything to do with the night before.
If you get back in the room in the morning and the water's still in the bathtub.
Yeah. So you got the water in the bathtub from the sweet sweat or just your sauna suit inside out in your room, sweaty towels. When I came back from the weight cut and from weighing in, the room was like the cleaning lady came there. It was great. You come back, you don't even realize that you just cut 12 pounds of sweat in the room you're staying in for the week.
It is.
And then you got fighters, man. It's not pretty. Fight week is not pretty. People think it's pretty. You got like fighters' underwears hanging from the closet, soaking wet. I mean, it's a mess in there. Fighter sweaty laundry that we're rinsing out in the bathtub with soap and water, hanging it to dry, using it again that night. It gets messy, man.
We make it look pretty on Instagram.
I know.
We make it look
shove
super
a big bag of soaking wet clothes in your luggage.
It's fight week is wild. I think we talked about that on the first episode quite a bit. It's just how hard fight week is. Like, and you go on both sides. Like, you're the fighter, but also on the other side, like, we try to describe, like, what did you do today? It's like, well, I don't really know what we did, but I'm freaking exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Like, I think we were in Moncton. I had the flu. So the day before we left for Moncton, I got diagnosed with the flu, but I was like, I couldn't change my ticket. I had to be there. So I wore a face mask on the plane and everything. I took like
You look like a serial killer.
Yeah, I looked like it was awful. And I remember, and I was playing it down the whole week. Like, I was like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm just, it's just the flu, but I'm good. And I would wear a mask the whole week when I was around anybody. And Rob was cutting weight. He was running on the treadmill. And I remember me and you were sitting on this little rubber ball, taking turns with a towel, rubbing the treadmill as it spins by with the towel. Because it was so wet, we don't want him to slip. So I'm sitting there bent over like this with a rubber, stupid medical mask. And I'm, like, just trying not to pass out. Like, anybody who's had the flu, like, gets it. Like, you feel like you're about to die, and you feel like you could pass out at any moment. I was just like, I can't do this. And Calvin's like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm great. Like, I'm perfect. Like,
got to be strong for the team.
That's right. I don't know how thinking back, I don't know how I did it, but I thought I was dying on Monday, and then I flew out on Tuesday. But I
happened to miss my flight back on that one, but I held up in Montreal for a night, so it worked out.
No, that was Moncton.
Yeah, Moncton.
We're talking about when me and you were holding the
towel. That's right, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Man, Joe can eat, huh? Milwaukee, Lausanne.
Oh, you didn't want to get Joe talking about your lack of ability to eat a whole steak.
I mean, honestly, I ate more food than he did. He just finished the steak. I left like a bite and a half, but I finished all my vegetables, my broccoli. I mean, I'm not going to go there with you, Joe.
Yeah.
Not again.
How big was the steak?
We got to finish this
you
debate.
You just eat like shit. I eat a lot more, though.
But how big was the steak that you couldn't finish?
Man, The steak was unbelievable, by the way. It was what was it, like 32 ounces?
I think
And
it was
I did finish it. What are you talking about? I didn't even. Yeah, I got picture evidence. If we could pull it up right now, I think we'd be good. But fucking Joe.
Yeah, it was. He was gloating, but he didn't eat any sides.
You know what I'm saying? That's not really
I get what
real.
you're saying, but I get what he's saying because the whole thing was
You were
like,
there.
so you can
You were
eat
there.
more
I guess you
steak
had to
and-
be there.
But we'll have to have an eating contest between you and Joe. That kid can eat a lot.
We need to run it back.
You eat a lot too, though. But you eat healthy stuff.
Yeah, it was
I
tough,
can't
man.
eat as much as you eat. You eat like I can eat more sweets than you.
Yeah, you
But
can.
the quantities that you eat, you eat this huge salad with a bunch of chicken on it, and then you'll order a meal. And I don't know how. I don't even know where it goes.
Good problems.
Dedication.
Dedication. Yeah, Brazil, man. I took for granted like the markets around here. So Brazil got obviously good market things, but I didn't have really much vegetables out there. I was having rice, beans, farofa, just carbs, and hitting the beach.
What is
sweating, standing there.
farofa?
Farofa. It's like a breadcrumb, and sometimes you either put like a bacon bit or a banana bit in it, or like a piece of banana or a cashew.
I'll take the
And
bacon.
You sprinkle it on top of your rice and beans, so it gives it a different texture. It's crunchy. It's pretty good. You gotta try it. Come to Brazil sometime, experience it. Tyson doesn't really love Brazil, but I don't think he's been to Brazil yet with me. That's why.
I did, but we went to Sao Paulo.
Yeah,
So I've been to Sao Paulo, Curitiba, and Rio.
it's not the same.
No.
Rio, yeah, but you didn't get to experience Rio the way it should have been experienced. This you gotta give it another try.
How's Sao Paulo different than Rio?
So Sao Paulo was more like inner city, and it was like a city.
Yeah,
Like,
they say
were,
it's like New
down-
York City.
Yeah, it was like more urban, and then Rio is right on the ocean. Like we see the Disney movies about Rio, and it's just the mountains, and you get the ocean right there. And the first couple blocks, it almost seems like you're just on any other beach, and it was good. Curitiba was kind of a blend of the two. We were we're inland, and I think out of all of them, Curitiba definitely felt the safest.
I did see some crazy shit while I was out there. I'm walking the beach to go to lunch, and on the one walk during on Ipanema, I saw a helicopter come with people jump out twice to save lives. And another time I was sitting on the beach and I saw two kids running, like 15-year-old and about a 13-year-old, and they were running fast. I'm like, it's way too hard to be running this fast. They're not just jogging on the beach. They're running. 10 seconds later, I see a big heavy-set cop running with work boots on, pants, and a collared shirt, chasing him on the beach by the water. And he just stops right in front of me, puts his hands on his knees, and he's out of breath. And he just let him go. I was loving it. I always wanted to see
Fastest kid alive.
Yeah. He was gone. Him and his little brother, I mean, they were out. I was ready though all week. I would chase his ass down.
Did you get any training in? We were out there. I know you were wrestling some stuff, but
Yeah. It was. I got a lot of training in eating acai and
jogging.
jogging the beach, hit some pull-ups, some push-ups, things like that. I got a bunch of blisters on my feet from running the beach. That beach is hot. But good time. Happy to be back though.
Saw you running
Can't
in
wait
the
to
rain.
leave again.
Don't they have treadmills
Already.
inside?
Yeah, they did, but why go to Brazil and have it be 90 degrees out and run inside? Makes no sense.
Because it
Enjoy
was raining. It looked like it was.
It was pouring pretty hard.
Yeah.
Coming
Yeah.
in.
You were about to go off and into the wind.
No, but midday, it's like beautiful all day, and then all of a sudden it'll just torrential downpour for about an hour, and then it'll be done.
Oh, that's
and then
not
it'll
too
come
bad.
back. Yeah.
I was in the airport in Rio, and there was waterfalls inside, and it poured. I'm like, this is crazy. Like you're inside, like in the hallway at the gate, and there's just water pouring. Like everybody's just walking around it like it's no big deal.
Definitely, you got to go sometime. It's great.
Yeah, just trust us. So I know, like from my point of view, like I know your family. Like you have a very unique family in the sense that you guys are so close. Like every UFC fight you've had, you bring a squad out. Like your mom's there, your brothers are there.
Catermania.
Catermania. You literally do have a little tribe. And your brother would basically handled you your whole career until we started working together, and he still helps. Brush on that a little bit, just about like the amount that they've done for you and some of the stuff that they've done, because it's just cool to see how much support you've had just from them the whole time.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's been me and my brother, since day one. I remember my first fight, I tried selling tickets, and I lost 3 VIP tickets front rows behind my bureau, and I didn't find it until like 6 months after the fight. I think I lost money. I was so pissed I couldn't find it. I tried being organized. And it was kind of a little bit mental distraction from the fight. So ever since then, my brother took over. He keeps like an Excel spreadsheet. That's where I was able to sell so many tickets locally. And you know that's huge with a promoter being able to sell tickets. And it being Dave George for most of my career was always a plus in the beginning, never really getting screwed, because the fight business, there's no business like the fight business. I mean, I can get pretty dark and shitty, especially 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, so it was great having my brother along. And you could always trust your brother. It's just that it was just me and him kind of getting started as far as taking opportunities. And then when I was fortunate enough to work with you guys, I think we've been adding to the team and kind of going along with what you're saying. It takes a team, and at this point now, it's not just me and my brother. It's me, you. I got a team, and Rob, and we got the perfecting athletes with the nutrition and skill of strength with Mike Perry. You know, it's really just everything coming together, and you could see how when you allow people to help you out and focus on certain parts of your career, how far you can really go with it. I got a huge opportunity from me right now, so where I'm at, I'm just trying to do right on my end and you know, put everything into it and make the most of it.
Yeah, because I know it's your whole family helping, but I feel like the two that I'm always seeing is your mom and your brother. And I know you got Keegan, your little brother's here too, but your whole family plays a huge role, but your mom and your brother seem to like really take an active role.
Yeah, especially when I was living with them in the beginning of my career, man. It was tough. They would pasta Sundays, man. It's ruthless living in a house that I grew up in and trying to make 45. I couldn't do it. I was fighting at 55, and everything I wanted to eat with my fights come up, I'm like, Mom, you think I could eat that? And she's like, yeah, you're good. You're good. Eat it. Like she's a diet, like she's Michelle perfecting. I said, no, I was eating an extra plate, and I was asking my mom, can I blame her for letting me eat it? And so moving out from there, I was able to actually really kind of cut down to 45 and make it a mainstay for my weight class now. But they've always been a huge. She didn't just cook pasta; she cooked me the healthy stuff too, and she was always a huge support kind of growing up, and especially living with her from my whole life. It's just been seeing her hard work, everything she does, and then my brother now. It's why we do it. You know what I mean?
And you guys, your mom just opened up a store down in Haverhill?
Yep, Humble Healings. It's in downtown Haverhill. Check her out. She works out, man. I get beat up, and I'm her test on me for all her salves, creams, CBD stuff. And she's the hookup, man. She comes on every time I go down there, aches, pain. She's always giving me some kind of balm, bad rub, everything. It's great. Yeah,
we went to the grand opening. What was it, back in late June, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we went. They have a bunch of cool stuff there for sale. It's right in Main Street, right?
Yep. Right in downtown.
That was nice.
What kind of things does she sell?
Honestly, a bunch of knick-knack stuff. You got to check it out sometime. Really good for like Gotsy stuff for holidays or gifts, and just a bunch of random things, but mainly CBD and health products like that, holistic healing approaches to medicine. And she really enjoys it. She was shot by a cop when she was pregnant with my sister, which is crazy. For me, 3 kids later to come out. How life works, man, is unbelievable. But they wanted her on prescription medicine, and 20 years later she got off, and so now she's a big advocate of she just takes CBD, and she's trying to push that message. So it's good to have. It's so funny. She was telling me to take CBD out of this vial, like I don't know, 5 years ago. And she's like, it helps coat your brain, and I'm like, that sounds kind of crazy, right? Like I don't know if I want to do that. Thanks, Ma. Right? She's like, put it in your tea. I'm like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I listen to Joe Rogan and Don Cerrone talk on their podcast, and he's advocating for CBD, all these vials and this and that. And I pulled the friggin' vial out of my car that I had never took it, but I always kept it. And I'm like, Mike, got any more of that CBD shit? Since I saw it in there, I ended up taking it. I tried. I accidentally put like 2 grams in my mouth. I almost threw up. It was disgusting. I didn't know if I was gonna piss hot on a damn test over CBD, but it's really nothing. It helps you out. It really helps with the aches and pains, and most people with like sleep and things.
I love CBD. I mean,
she's clearly.
Yeah, you're pretty fragile.
Yeah,
it'll help you a lot.
I'm not a drinker or smoker or anything like that, and I don't even really take ibuprofen or Advil. So for me to be taking CBD and being an advocate for it,
crazy.
People don't know. Yeah, people think weed when they hear CBD.
You must have asked me 10 times. I knew you were interested in CBD. You asked me 10 times. Sure, I won't get high, right? And I'm like, yeah, man, you're not gonna get high. It's CBD. And
so I started taking it like probably in late June when I went to your mom's thing. I got some,
yep.
And I've been taking it ever since, and I've never slept so good.
How do you take it?
Because with her, I did drops because they have that, but I have a company that I go with now. Bio CBD Plus. I use theirs, and they have capsules. I take
Capsules.
1 pill a day. I take capsules, and I guess it's preference, the capsules or the drops. But I swear by it. And I've always had sleeping issues, and now I put my head on the pillow sometimes at night, and I wake up the next morning, which has never happened.
Yeah, you can do it like 3 different ways. I think it's like through the smoke, CB smoke, vaping, or the pill form like you're saying, ingestibles, or like a topical. So some people even do all 3 at the same time, and I notice the full effects of everything. But you can get by with even just one. It helps out a ton.
Yeah, sounds like your mom was way ahead of the curve. And
yeah, she went to school for it actually 2 years. Learned a bunch about it. She was definitely ahead of the curve.
What would that degree be in, like health and nutrition or holistic medicine?
Honestly, I don't know the name of the degree, but I know she got it done, and she's been telling me the ins and outs of it for a long time now, and it's just a lot to take in. It's something you can hear about, get sold on, and have a tough time explaining why someone else should do it, but if they did their research or were in on the conversation, that's why I just push people to go learn more about it, because I can't really do the job enough to explain it to you, but it works great. You try it. It's no harm, no foul. You can't overdose on it. It's not, so it's safe product. Helps.
So I've never seen it, but the rumor is you have a key to the city of Methuen.
I forget what the hell that thing's even called, but I got I don't know, celebrated some kind of award. It wasn't. What was it called?
It's not an actual key.
No, it's not a key, but I like the sound of a key to the city better,
I
so I let people run with it.
Brandon Shagden, remember him?
Yeah,
he's from Methuen, and this is before you're training with us, and he was a fighter. He was one of those kids who fight anybody. And he's like, I'm from Methuen, and I'll fight anybody. And they give this kid a key to the city. F him, I'll fight him tomorrow. So he was like all jealous that you got a key to the city, and he's, now it's all in good fun. But
bunch of haters in Methuen, man. A lot of tough kids. If they just knew how to do something with it, a lot of tough kids.
Oh, that kid's a rat. He looks like a Viking now. Got a big red beard. He's jacked.
I think it was I got proclamation, something like that.
Let's say key to the city.
Key to the city. Yeah,
Was there a Calvin
definitely got a key to
Kattar
the
Day?
city. It's in my. I got it in the car. Huh?
Was there a Calvin Kattar Day?
No, not yet.
No.
We're working on that.
All right.
I'm in talks with the mayor.
Can you imagine? That would actually be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I kind of want to work on that.
Do we get shirts that say I know Calvin Kattar?
No, Kattar Mania. You can get them
right.
at czmma.com.
Kattar Mania.
Yeah.
That was cool in the garden. You got like neon yellow ones.
Yeah, something.
And so when we were in the cage at the end, and you looked around, you could see where all your family.
Do you know how
was.
Kattar Mania started? Actually, it was because I fought on September 11th at the ASC Sports Center or whatever in
Derry.
No, right off exit 1 in Salem, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ice Center I meant. So I fought on September 11th. I'm like, what am I going to come out to for a fight song? I was switching it up a lot back then, and I came out to Hulk Hogan, I'm a Real American, September 11th, American flag in the background, and I came out to instead of Hulkamania, Kattar Mania.
Who were you fighting?
Andrew Montanez. I ended up winning the North Atlantic Boxing Commission belt. So I won a boxing belt in an MMA fight.
Hey.
I'll take it. That's the last 5-round fight I'm doing until I get to UFC.
Do you still have the belt?
I do. Yeah.
Do you occasionally wear it around the house?
No, it was so heavy, man, after that 5-round fight. And it was actually a good quality belt. I couldn't even, I was like, man, this shit's heavy. Couldn't even lift it. And at this point, no, I need to get it a case. I got all my gloves from my last few fights and shoe boxes.
Shadow box.
Yeah, I got to do those because if I don't, I never will, and they'll just stay in my trunk forever.
I have so much newspaper clippings and everything just in a box that I haven't done anything with yet.
Yeah, but you got a bigger house than me.
Yeah,
but my wife takes over every room. Now she's putting babies in all the spare rooms. So I got no say.
You have a couple of shadow boxes. I think Sarah was the one that did those, right?
Yeah, I have one, but now I'm not allowed to hang it up anywhere.
I got to see the theater soon, man. We got to watch a fight night down there.
Yeah, well, it's definitely pretty sweet.
Did you name it yet? Just Man Cave?
Not yet. We got to see. I don't know. I never even thought about naming it. It's a good idea.
Damn. Yeah, and you got to throw a picture of me up there.
Well, I wanted to put the posters up from some of the fights, the signed posters, but I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Calvin,
I'm not going until there's a picture of me on that wall.
Do you have any suggestions for a name?
For a name, Uncle T City.
T City.
Kind of like Brian City, B City, Brian City. Yeah, you're right.
He's T City, not B City.
Oh shit. Some shit like that.
Oh,
Uncle T. Yeah.
So the next Combat Zone,
Friday, 19th? April 19th. Yep.
Literally right down the road from here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show too. Jerome Brashears, he's killing it with the matchmaking this time around, and we got some good matchups on the card. 2 gi jiu-jitsu matchups too, so I'm excited.
So
Greg West first, Rick Hahn.
Greg West is Brendo's coach.
Who you got
That
now?
he is. I gotta go with Greg.
Just
I mean, I
Close.
have to. I mean, that was an easier one than the last one.
Yeah. Oh, hey. We asked him last week who his favorite fighter was. And he said Andre Sukumtov.
Damn.
It's not fair.
Then we
It's
got
not fair at all.
We got Dennis Olsen versus Ray Shoddy. It's another good one.
That'd
I
be
know
good.
both guys. Both guys have been in the sport since I have, about 12, 13 years at least probably. And should be a fun one.
Who do we got lined up for MMA so far? I know me and Jerome are working on a couple things, but it just hasn't been finalized 100%.
Yeah, we're trying to get, I think, Dylan Locke could finalize, maybe Brendan Marat. Brendan's been a mainstay with us for a while now. He's, 5-0?
Yep.
Kid's killing it. Who else we got on there? We got a good card, man. Jerome's killing it. Like I said, he's doing a great job matchmaking. He's helping out a ton, especially while I was away in Brazil the last couple of weeks. He's doing a great job. But I'm excited about the show. April 19th, I was able to go knowing that I don't have a fight or a show coming up too soon. It's Carnival. Why not?
Yeah.
And did it. But hopefully have something lined up soon, a Combat Zone, and then a fight. Just get the ball rolling with both the rest of the year.
Do you have the venue or the date for the next one already?
No, so I'm kind of playing around with a couple options. We definitely to be announced.
Okay, so not locked in.
Not yet. I'm kind of open to some things and spreading out a little bit over the summer and looking at some things later in the year.
Right.
See.
I'm glad you're doing some grappling matches. That'll be good.
Yeah, good switch up.
Yeah.
Most people won't know, what it is. They just all want to see blood. They don't know what they want, but now they didn't want kickboxing. Then we added it, and some great kickboxing fights. It's pretty exciting. And if you get a chance to see a big pro one where they're throwing elbows, knees, and it just sounds different. It's just like, wow, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy to me because we could do that in our fights, but our elbows and kicks don't sound like that when we do it. These guys, yeah.
It's I wasn't sure how I thought the kickboxing would work out, but it's been good. You've had a couple on every show.
Yeah.
It's obviously from a business standpoint for you, it's good because you're adding in a couple fights that if people are selling tickets. You might be hitting a little bit slightly different market.
Yep.
Now the same thing with the grappling. I think it'll be good, and it gives people like his coach and Rick's, they get to compete again against other people that are kind of in the same phase of their careers as they are. They're just, it's more of a lifestyle thing. They're not trying to turn pro in anything because they've already done that.
Main reason why I did it too is just because I was sick of calling the 0-0, like whatever. And I'm not knocking anybody's record. 0-0 is actually great. I love 0-0s especially for fighters. No one sells tickets like debut fighters, but in general, like independent guys who are upset on records, 0-10, 0 this, and they're fighting out of their gyms, training out of their gyms. Like, there's only so many fighters around here that you can put on good quality matchups, and I don't really like putting on bad fights because I got to sit there and watch the damn thing too. You know what I mean? I'm a fan at that point. When the fights come, I'm done working. My brother takes over the night of the event. I like watching the fights, and I get excited to tune in, myself. So I don't really like to put on those. And a lot of times they're just unreliable. They're really stressful to deal with. These guys, they never show up. They never get their medicals done. So it's a pain in the ass or something. So I'm like, why don't we trim the fat of fighters that just don't really want to be here? You know what I mean? And let's put on some good quality kickboxing fights because there's probably a lot of those guys around that want to get in there and put on a hell of a show that are far more professional. And it's worked out great.
Plus, it opens you up to a different audience too, different set of an audience.
Yeah,
if you have different jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu fans are different than MMA fans generally. So definitely opens you up to more customers. So.
Especially that matchup, like those are two badass matchups. Yeah. Those are great fights. So I'm excited about that, and he's doing a great job. So we're in a good place with that, and I'm just excited to sign that line when I'm feeling good to go. Yeah, man. I just want to see those numbers, see what it maps out to, start visualizing and attack. I'm ready to go, man. It's good to be back. I'm back in routine. Shit was getting a little crazy out there.
All right, so Calvin, April 19th, where would people get tickets for Combat Zone?
You just go online to our website at czmma.com and get them all there.
Awesome. So I think we're ready for some news and questions. I know we got a bunch of ladies asking some questions for you, but I think
Tyson's
we have some
favorite part of the interview.
Yeah, we got some MMA headlines. I think your brother Keegan's actually on the other side of the glass today. He's got some things he's gonna pitch over to us. How you doing, Keegan?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tyson?
Great.
So the first question we have here is, the PFL recently announced a 2-year partnership with ESPN. How do you feel that playing out, in a positive way or negative way?
Anytime there's more opportunity for fighters, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Get there to get there, to just branch out and get their stuff out there to the people watching. Probably try to cut that out if you can.
I know, it's good. I think competition.
Yeah.
It's a raising tide raises all ships. So you have more competition now. Just going to bring new. They have a different format with their tournaments. They do like a regular season, 2 fights, and they seed you 1 through 8. They have playoffs, championships. Winner gets $1 million. They do 1 season a year, kind of like a regular sports format. So they're going to bring different eyes to the sport on the same platform that UFC is already on, which is ESPN. I think it's just going to make the sport grow. And anytime there's competition, everybody's going to raise their game. So, now you're going to have a legitimate. You can say we have a third player now. Like PFL had their first season, people were kind of like, oh, how's this going to work? But I think now that they got this deal with ESPN, and then furthermore, they just announced that they have a deal with Anheuser-Busch, a multi-year deal. So they're on a major platform, they're paying fighters good money, and they have a major blue chip sponsor. So I think it's only going to make everybody else step their game up. So I think it's extremely good for MMA.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at where they were before, I think it's like NBC Sports, most people couldn't find it. NBC Sports didn't really have an identity, and if it did, what I knew it from was like hunting shows on Saturday morning. So going over to ESPN is going to be good. Plus, they're taking somewhat a bit of an NFL view on it. It's on more nights, so it's not competing against the UFC. It's on like Thursday night. So you're gonna have a Thursday night. You're gonna have Friday night cards on like Axis and things like that, and you're gonna have the Saturday, Sunday UFC shows. So there's gonna be more nights of MMA going forward too.
Yeah, it's just good for guys you see time and time again get their shot in UFC, and one way or another it doesn't work out. And I mean you might get called back again, right? And after that it's even harder and harder, but. Another promotion like this offering $1 million prizes, for guys that put their whole life into a career, to have more shots at still making it is always a good thing, more opportunity.
Yeah, you look at the guys who just won season 1. There was a couple of UFC vets that.
How was that guy that won at 170? Was it like 40?
Oh, that was 185. The guy was like 39.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wild. Making $1 million in fighting.
$1 million, and he was pretty obscure before that. I'm sure he's a great fighter that people knew him, but a lot of us hadn't heard of him yet. And now he's going to be in next season at 170. So it'll be interesting to see if he defends, like, he can go and win another $1 million, win $2 million in 2 years. Is pretty, for a guy that is 39 and probably didn't have a future getting a lot of money in MMA, now he has this platform, and then this season it's going to be on ESPN.
Who's this guy? What's his name?
Oh, I can't even remember his name.
I know, I just know.
He beat Doomsday in the semifinals. There was that, like, disqualification weird fight. I can't remember his name, but he had a wrestling background. I think he was a college wrestling coach, and then he won in the quick knockout right in the first round.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's exciting too.
$1 million punch. I think he threw 1 punch. It was like the $1 million punch.
I remember I posted on my story. Like $1 million punch. Wild. It's crazy. So I'm excited about the whole ESPN thing. I don't know how the UFC feels about it. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter to us what they feel about it, but it'd be interesting to see 2 major organizations on the same channel now. I think that just also speaks for just how big ESPN is, like how big of a platform they really have, that they can bring in both the UFC and PFL, and somehow they coexist. So I'm excited for that.
I've got to imagine the UFC's happy about it too. I mean, yeah, it's competition, but it brings more eyes. It brings more eyes to the product.
Yeah. So Keegan, did you have some questions for your brother?
I'm relaying some questions. So the first one is, are you single? How do I date you?
It's a weird question coming from you, Keegan.
I know.
But that's a good question. Yeah, definitely single, and I don't know. I haven't figured out how it works yet myself.
You do some Tinder and stuff?
I'd rather not talk about it.
All right.
Depends. Is it fight week?
So ladies, yes, he is single. All right.
All right, and I saw you recently in Brazil. What were you there for?
I was there for Carnival, and I went with my coach and my teammates, just go kind of have a good time and relax. I had nothing lined up, and Combat Zone wasn't for over a month or so away, so I figured it was a good time while I can, because after Combat Zone I'll be lining up fights, and Combat Zone I'll be busy for the rest of the year, so good timing.
All right, and number 3, and I'm someone who deals with anxiety. You seem fearless to me with how courageous you are getting into a ring with someone who wants to hurt you. I was wondering what scares you and some of the ways you overcome and conquer those fears.
I mean, I'm human, man, just like anybody else. A lot of things probably scare me, but I have fears about a lot of things. But I just try to do them. Like anything that I fear, I just try to go right at it and kind of break it down. And every fight camp, you know, every time you start feeling those butterflies, this and that, you kind of just go right through it and come out on the other end and want more. So yeah, I just go right through it.
All right, number 4. When you share a bed with Tyson, who's the big spoon?
I don't think Tyson could be Big Spoon if he tried.
Bro, I got my sleeping bag.
But
I can
he's
do whatever I
always
want.
down to be one. I'll tell you that. Tyson would be the big spoon and the little spoon
I
if he
can do
could.
it all, bro. I can do it all.
Number 5. How many swipes per day does Tinder allow?
I don't know, man. But after Brazil, my thumbs are a little calloused. I'm kidding.
So
no.
Tinder does have a limit though.
Yeah.
Tinder came out after I got married, so I don't know really for the other married men out here who aren't scumbags that don't have Tinder. I'm not saying you're a scumbag if you have Tinder. I'm saying if
Yeah,
you have Tinder and you're
fair.
married, you're a scumbag. So they do cap how many times you can swipe.
Unless you're premium. I would, man, you gotta start paying for a Tinder. That's probably bad.
Okay, so there is a cap on that.
Unless you're premium.
Okay. Well, I just learned something. See, Sarah, I don't have Tinder.
All right, number 6. What's scarier, getting into a fight or talking to Tyson's wife?
She's scary.
Well, anybody
man.
that would say a fight hasn't talked to Tyson's wife.
She can. Okay, so probably a lot of
Tyson's the
people-
pants, but Sarah is the belt.
Yeah, Sarah's. She can be pretty brutal. Like if you cross her, she'll tell you exactly how she feels. Like, but yeah, you always say like behind every successful man is a strong woman. Except for
Definitely.
Calvin because he's single. He's got his mom.
A lot of
though.
successful,
You
a
get
lot
my-
of strong.
I got-
My sister, my mother.
Yeah, so you got that, but yeah, no, I mean, we joke about it all the time. How Sarah's like, they're like, don't tell Sarah. If anytime we're doing something, just don't tell Sarah, Tyson. Don't tell Sarah. She'll get pissed, but
Tyson will take losses before he has a conversation with Sarah.
yeah. I was like, let's just hide this one from her.
I'll be honest. I've talked to Sarah. She's very nice.
She's
She's very nice.
She is.
Yes,
She is.
we love
Sarah,
you, Sarah. We love you. I'm scared of her sometimes, but then once you get it out there, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did something to piss her off in this podcast. You'll be
Oh,
hearing
yeah.
about it.
Probably.
Well, I don't know about him, but definitely you.
Definitely.
Definitely you.
But Sarah, we love you.
I'm sure you get a lot of fans sliding into those DMs. What's one of the craziest ones you've received?
Man, they just get crazier and crazier. I don't know. I could look through it right now and let you know. They're just. I don't know. I had. Let me think, man. I had some crazy stuff. Just I wouldn't know how to put it in no words, man. Just crazy.
Any
stuff.
marriage proposals?
I've had just weird stuff. Yeah, crazy weird. Nothing specific that comes to mind for a DM slide, but I mean, guys, girls, every person type, anything, just reaching out, messaging me, trying to. But the cool part is I got people from like Korea. You know, hey, I'm your fan from Korea. I'm like, what?
That's how Koreans sound?
Yeah, like, hey, hey. No, so it's pretty cool that I try to reach out to them, and I really want to start kind of scheduling a little bit more where maybe on Sundays or something like we spend an hour doing more stuff like this, reaching out, because it's pretty cool to interact with some of them because you'd never have a chance to meet them otherwise. Where maybe I do have a big fan in Korea.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty cool that they reach out from all over, and I try to follow up as many as I can. And then
It's tough because once you follow up once, then they want to have a conversation.
I know,
It's never,
and
so it just.
it's
I mean,
tough.
I'm nowhere near like what the fighters get, but even me, like I'll have people message me after a fight and be like, "Great job, coach," or this and that, and if I say thank you, then they're like, "Yeah, and then they want to talk more. And it's like, at what point do you cut them off? Because you want to be polite and reply, but there's only so much hours in the day. So Rob Font taught me the emojis. You just answer with an emoji, and it doesn't escalate the conversation.
Yeah.
So. It's tough, and I can only imagine what you fighters get, because I get criticized after a loss. It's like, oh, how come you didn't do this? Or how come you, hey, coach, do you want to bring me in to work with your fighters? Because I could teach them this, X, Y, and Z, and this is what I can offer them.
I got Joe down the street telling me how to check a leg kick. Like, these guys there, and they all want to give you your 2 cents, but I appreciate the good feedback. I just try to pay attention to that more than the other stuff because it's definitely there and it's just what you focus on.
But I think one thing to point out is, I mean, you only have like 10,000 Instagram followers, and some of these people get like 100,000, a million. You showed me your phone of how many requests you have that you haven't even got to yet. Like, I'm not talking about messages, but actual just message requests.
Yep.
Like hundreds. So like when fans sometimes I think look at the fighters and they're like, oh, he's a jerk, he doesn't interact with his fans. It's like, you got to realize the volume that some of these guys get.
And that's just Instagram,
right?
And then you got your Facebook, and then you got your text. Sometimes like
Tinder,
and you got but you got like your family texting you and your team, the ones that were there with you when you weren't in UFC and that got you there, and you want to respond to those too. They're reaching out, hey, congrats. People that you actually in your family, you want to respond to them first, and it's just all overwhelming at once. But good problems, man. You sound like an asshole complaining about that, but it is real, But good problems, and it's definitely overwhelming, especially with all the different media platforms. And I get yelled at from you for not posting on there, so I post, and then I'm interacting, and all of a sudden I'm getting bombarded, and he's like, "Why aren't you texting me?" I'm like,
it's not my fault, Sarah.
This next one's directed at Tyson. What's one thing you see that sets Calvin apart from other fighters?
So I think with Calvin, I think the biggest thing that you have that some of my other fighters don't is like the understanding of the business side of it, because you're a promoter. So everything that I'm going through on my end, you also do that as a job. So you get it. Like I've never felt like you really were trying to get me to explain why I'm doing something. Like you kind of get it. Like there's that level of trust that we have where you're just like, Tyson, just tell me what my contract is and I trust you, we have that level of trust. But I think the reason we're able to really have like that absolute level is because you've worn all the hats. You've done matchmaking, you've done promoting, you're a fighter, you and your brother managed yourself. You've seen every aspect, and then you deal with a lot of other managers. Like when you're dealing with Combat Zone, you're dealing with other coaches or managers setting up fights. So you see kind of like a lot of the different ways that other people do it and how, I guess, maybe how bad it can be.
Yep.
So then it leads you to maybe like appreciate more of like what you're not having to deal with what we do, like less of the BS. And obviously everybody has BS, but I think you have something to compare it to. Where some of my other fighters, the other fighters I work with, is maybe they've never had another coach or another manager or anything like that. So it's easy to focus just on that like 1% of like, why doesn't he do this? And they don't realize
how good they have it.
Yeah, so I think ignorance is bliss, but not always. Like they're ignorant to what badness is out there. So I think with you, you really do understand the business side of it, and I think that with that comes a level of respect that you understand like all the different hats you've worn, all the hats I wear, and then just how important every spoke of the wheel is.
Definitely.
So I think that's one thing that I really think that sets you apart. And other than that, like from a skill standpoint, I don't know if anybody could really argue there's anyone in the division that has a better jab than you.
Rob would argue it, but he'd be wrong.
But he's not in your division.
I say he might come up to 45. He's been lifting a ton, man. He's looking big. Who knows?
Yeah.
So one thing that I see that sets you apart from other fighters is you're clearly a very caring human being. You at one point befriended a bird and like nursed it back.
The bird befriended me.
Well, either way.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You didn't have to take it.
I kind of did. I felt bad, honestly, to you and Rob. I didn't know how to explain that. I wasn't going to make the session. I had to I started going live. I had to show you. And then, Tyson's a nice guy too, so he got it. And Rob was saying, do that. Screaming some crazy shit, telling me to do it.
Yeah, we were at SOS doing strength and conditioning. We're like, where the hell is Calvin? Like, we're waiting to start.
I wasn't the normal 20 minutes late. I was an hour.
Yeah, I go on Instagram, I look at his story, and here he is playing with a bird at Panera Bread. I'm like, this guy. So I call him. He's like, this is real. He's like holding it on his arm. Like, that was an adventure.
I can't even tell you. I think I got more like messages on my inbox from the bird more than I have with the fighting. It's crazy. I still get them. That's more overwhelming than anything. I still get the bird questions, even from the interviews in the UFC after the last win. They're like right to the bird. I'm like, man, it made an impact on a lot of people's lives. But I didn't tell many people that I thought I did see it 2 weeks later, driving back home from the market, and I sounded like a crazy. I'm like, people think I'm crazy, but I swear, I almost pulled over. I'm like, you gotta go home.
So one thing that I would imagine a bird in a car with open windows would be a lot like a cat that's kind of demonic. Did it just hang out on your shoulder, or I feel like it would just start flying around?
I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing. I was gonna leave it at Panera. How are you gonna take it in your car, right? So I walked to my car and it flew on the hood of my car, and I'm like, this is crazy. And then I opened my door. I'm like, this thing's like not leaving me. I kind of feel like I don't know, mean, but not just by leaving it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna put my arm out. It flies on my arm, then it's coming with me because it's coming with me. And if not, then I'm leaving because I'm an hour and a half late to training. So I put my arm out. Thing flew over my arm. I'm like, all right, we're going home. Brought it home. I started digging up worms in the backyard on the rocks. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? That was the easy way. And this, I got it some worms. I got it a cage. I went the whole 9 yards like I had a bird. And it was on my shoulder in the pet store, walking around. Literally, it was the craziest thing that ever happened. But it lasted one night only. And
Like a lot of your relationships.
Yeah. So it left the next morning bright and early. Had a tea time anyway, so I told it to hit the sky.
It's got to be pretty cool. You ended up on Barstool.
Yeah, I got a message from some guy in Sweden, like, you're on the most famous website in Sweden. I ended up FaceTiming like 7 News the next day or something. It was like, this is crazy. Crazy. I look back on the pictures now, and it's pretty hysterical, though. Hysterical.
I was getting so many messages about it. Like, what the hell is Calvin doing? Is that real? I was like, I think it is.
Yeah.
If it wasn't real, you got a really good, cool like video suite where you can CGI birds and stuff.
Yeah, no. I ended up making it a plate of worms while we were all sitting down at the table. It's on the plate, eating worms, and I got like a chicken, corn, rice, broccoli. We're all having like dinner. The bird is on its plate eating worms from the plate. Can't make it up, man. I had to go live. That's the first time. That was my live debut on Instagram. I've never been. I didn't even know how to do it.
I'm telling you to save them.
I gotta do this. I didn't even know how to save a live video because I never did it, and I never did one since because I don't think you could do a follow up from the bird video. I don't know.
Good times.
So have you taught all the fighters how to actually save videos now?
Yeah, I think they know how. I messed up once. I was Maurice's win in his UFC debut. I went Facebook Live in there. Everybody was all excited, and then we were trying to do his medicals after, and I hit the wrong button, and I lost the video. So then, like, it was on my story, but I wasn't able to save it to like a highlight, so I lost the whole thing. It was annoying.
That stinks.
But
Like the
live and
father,
learn, right?
the father at graduation trying to get. He's
Yeah.
an old guy, and he ends up recording himself.
Yeah.
Trying to record the girl at graduation.
Yep. Keith, you got any more, buddy?
Last one, just getting Brendo's perspective on Calvin. That's it.
The highlight of Brendo's experience with me is me and my bird story, I guess.
Yeah, I like the bird. It was fun.
Is there anything else you want to get out, Cal?
No, just out of here, get this kid home. Keegan, my little brother, he's out here visiting today. He's going
Spring break, right?
Yeah, spring break. Must be fun to be
days.
young again, man. Goes to Plymouth State College, out in your neck of the woods.
Oh, so
But
fun.
no, just that was good to be here talking to you guys. I like what you're doing with it. It takes a team. It's pretty cool, and pretty much just shedding light on what we already know and what we're doing. And it's a movement, man. It's a good part. It's a good time to be a part of MMA in New England here right now.
Yeah, we're excited. Thanks for coming on. I know any last questions or
If you can just plug Combat Zone again, tell us when that is, where that is.
My man. It's going to be Friday, April 19th at the Doubletree, Manchester, New Hampshire. Get your tickets at czmma.com.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.